Hi students, welcome back to BVR Sir's classroom. We are dealing with theories of bonding in metals. In this theories of bonding in metals, we already discussed valence bond theory and also free electron theory in part 1. This is part 2, and in this part 2, we will study different types of solids as far as conductivity is concerned, and our focus will be on semiconductors. Okay, I hope you will enjoy my lecture. I am B. Venkatrao from the Department of Chemistry, Government College Autonomous, Rajahmundry. As I told you, we will be dealing with solid substances with respect to electrical conductivity. So, classification of solids. Basing on the property of electrical conductivity, we all know that solids are classified into three types. What are they means? Basically, two types, conductors and insulators. But as far as electrical conductivity is concerned, in between conductors and insulators, there are certain substances which are classified as semiconductors. Okay, we will discuss about those semiconductors also in detail. Let us start like this. What are conductors? The substance which allows the passage of electricity through them are called as conductors. Their conductivity is of the order of 10 to the power of 8 ohm inverse centimeter inverse. That is the measure of electrical conductivity. What are the best examples for this class of electrical conductors? Means metals. Metals stand to be very, very good conductors of electricity. Now, how to study in detail regarding this conductors is we have to make use of band theory. Okay, I'll discuss about this band theory in detail in part 3. So just remember that there is one very important concept called as band theory, and basing on the band theory, we will be studying electrical properties of all the three types of substances. As per the band theory, in true metals, partially filled band or unoccupied band will overlap with an empty band. Okay, partially filled band or unoccupied band will overlap with the empty band. That is the valence band and conduction band. When an electrical potential is applied, the electron present in a partially filled energy jump into the higher zone of the same band and conduction takes place. That means electron from valence bond jumps into conduction band, and due to that movement of electrons, electrical conductivity occurs. That is the explanation regarding conductivity property of conductors basing on this band theory. It is also called as molecular orbital theory that we will discuss in due course of time. Then what are insulators? The substance which do not allow the passage of electricity are called as insulators. There is no possibility of electrical conductivity in these substances. Best examples is wood. Similarly, certain organic and inorganic solvents, solids where predominantly covalent bond occurs. In insulators, there will be a gap between fully occupied bands and unoccupied band. This is called forbidden gap or forbidden band. So that is forbidden energy level. So the energy between valence band and conductance bands will be more. Therefore, an electron present in the valence bond cannot migrate to conduction band. That is why there is no electrical conductivity. The electrons cannot cross this gap. Which gap? Forbidden gap. By the application of electric potential. Hence, they cannot conduct electricity. Then what about semiconductors? Already we discussed about conductors and insulators. So the property of semiconductors as far as electrical conductivity is concerned falls in between the two, that is conductors and insulators. Solids which have electrical conductivity in between those of conductors and into insulators at room temperature are called as semiconductors. These crystals allow only partial conduction of current through them. Again, these are classified into two types: intrinsic semiconductors and extrinsic semiconductors. We will discuss in detail about these two types. What are intrinsic semiconductors? These are poor conductors of electricity at normal temperature. That means as far as their electrical conductivity is concerned, when they are placed at normal room temperature, their electrical conductivity is very poor. But what we are doing is conductivity increases with increasing temperature. That means When the type of substance is heated, then what happens means more number of electrons can migrate from valence band to conduction band. Therefore, its electrical conductivity increases. The type of substances are called as intrinsic semiconductors. In these substances, the forbidden gap is very small comparatively. When you compare with the previous discussion, that is insulators, the forbidden gap or the forbidden energy level is very small. Therefore, an electron present in valence band can easily migrate to conduction band. Therefore, electrons can jump from occupied band to the unoccupied band with the increasing temperature. By this, they can conduct electricity. So this is intrinsic semiconductors. Similarly, another group called as extrinsic semiconductors. These are also called as impurity semiconductors. Why it is called as impurity semiconductor means we are adding some impure substance in order to increase their electrical conductivity. That's why they are called as impurity semiconductors. Say for example, when a small amount of gallium or phosphorus, do remember that gallium belongs to third group, boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium, whereas this element phosphorus belongs to fifth group. Now we are adding a third group element like gallium or a fifth group element like phosphorus to fourth group element, that is silicon or germanium. Okay, now it increases the conductivity by creating more number of holes. When more number of holes are created means when a third group element is added to fourth group element like silicon or germanium, then more number of holes will be created. I'll explain the concept of holes, etc. Or more number of electrons will be left free. When the more number of electrons are left free, when a fifth group element is added to fourth group element like silicon or germanium, then what happens is electrons will be left free, and those free electrons will be responsible for conduction of electricity. Okay, now this addition of impurities, which impurities? Third group element like gallium or fifth group element like phosphorus to a semiconductor is called as doping. D-O-P-I-N-G. Don't forget this term, doping. So doping means adding impurity. Okay, so the conductivity of a doped semiconductor is called extrinsic semiconductor. Okay, when the increase in electrical conductivity is due to heating like processes, then it is called as intrinsic semiconductor. And when the semiconductor increases its conductivity due to the addition of some external impure material, whether belonging to a third group or a fifth group, then the type of semiconductor is called as extrinsic semiconductor. I hope you are clearly following this concept. Now, these extrinsic semiconductors are again divided into two types. Two types, you already got that point. When a third group element is added, one type of semiconductor will be obtained, or when a fifth group element is added, another type of semiconductor will be obtained. We'll discuss what is that. Now, first, let us start like that. In the previous slide, we studied that as far as extrinsic semiconductors are there, it is again divided into two types. In this, the first type is N-type semiconductors, negative type semiconductors, N-type. These are formed by the addition of fifth group elements like phosphorus, arsenic, etc. to the crystal lattice of fourth group element like silicon or germanium. Okay. So when a fifth group element is added to a fourth group element, you people know very well that in the valence shell of a fourth group element, there are 4 electrons. It is tetrahedral in nature. Okay, to this you are adding a fifth group element which has 5 valence electron. Now, a fourth group element can combine with only 4 valences of the fifth group element, and the fifth electron will be left free, and that free electron is responsible for electrical conductivity. Okay, study this one. In the fifth group elements, 5 valency electrons are present. Out of these 5 valency electrons, 4 are utilized to form 4 bonds with silicon or germanium. The fifth electron is a free electron. This free electron is responsible for electrical conductivity. So that is the explanation regarding N-type semiconductors. So now you are very much comfortable with the study of semiconductors. Let us see the next one. Before observing the p-type semiconductors, you observe this one, intrinsic with negligible impurities. When there are no impurities, all are silicon atoms. When all are silicon atoms, they are tetrahedrally bonded to next elements, the adjacent atoms. Okay, why only 4 bonds are formed means they have tetravalency. In the valency level, they have only 4 electrons. Now, to this, you observe this diagram, you are adding a 5th group element like phosphorus. Just now in the previous slide, I explained that phosphorus belongs to 5th group. So in the valency level, it has 5 electrons. But here, you observe this network structure, it requires only 4 electrons. Now what happens to this 5th electron? This 5th electron is free. It is a free electron. It is freely available. It can move freely across the entire metallic structure. Therefore, that becomes conduction electron. Movement of electron is nothing but conductivity. So, since there is negative charge available in this system, it is called as negative type with donor, that is phosphorus, N type. Okay, the next situation, observe this one. Now, instead of a silicon atom, there is a boron atom here. Boron belongs to 3rd group. In the valency level, it has only 3 electrons. But how many electrons are required? 4 electrons are required to satisfy tetravalency of silicon atoms. Therefore, what happens is, instead of 1 electron, that is the 4th electron, there is a vacancy orbital in the form of hole, that is called as hole, H-U-L-E. Okay, observe this one, hole is formed. Due to presence of this hole, what happens? An electron from other area can come and reside at this hole. Again, from this hole, it will migrate to another hole, and that migration is the result conductivity of that particular substance. Okay, so this is there is a positive charge possible, that is hence it is called as p-type with acceptor boron atom, p-type semiconductors. Okay, n-type semiconductors and p-type semiconductors are obtained in this particular case. The same thing which I just explained, p-type semiconductors. These are formed by the addition of 3rd group elements like boron, gallium, indium to the crystal lattice of 4th group element like silicon or germanium. In 3rd group elements, 3 valence electrons are present, only 3 electrons. So they can't satisfy the tetravalency of silicon or germanium. So 1 electron valency hole is formed. It is known as positive hole. The movement of electron into this positive hole is responsible for electrical conductivity. So that is the explanation, simplest explanation regarding the functioning of extrinsic semiconductors, N-type as well as P-type semiconductors. I hope you understood this concept well. Okay, study and prepare notes basing on this explanation. Thank you very much for watching. All the best.